Welcome, welcome. I just finished doing live on TikTok, so you missed it. It was me and Lily. Let's see. Summer of Dragonfly, Ramsterdam, Jasmine. Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello. I have to sing my song. I've been forgetting to sing it. Let's see. I'm going to do a little cleaning up because I was eating a soup and I need to drink water because I had some vino. So I'm going to put myself on mute and do some cleaning up. Hi, Danny. How are you? Hi, Connie. Lily's here too. Dedria is here. Mickey is here. April's here. AJ's here. Miss Muniz is here. Hello. I'm going to do some cleaning up because I had a little soup. And I still have some wine in here, which I'm like, am I getting a headache? I don't want one. I have to go to work tomorrow. Ooh. I'll sing my song when I get back. So I just went live on TikTok with Lily. So Lily, if you want to join this one, you are more than welcome to do so. And let's put all the things across the things. Let's put all the things across the things. Should I get some lipstick? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Amsterdam. I didn't see that comment. Yes. Hello, AJ. Hello, Tony. Hello, Sass. Sass is in the house. Okay. I'll send you a link. Email me at justcallmewa@gmail.com, Lily, and I'll send you the link. Max says, hey, y'all, should I get Discovery Plus? Does anyone on here have it? I haven't watched the show yet. It aired. Yeah, I watch it on Discovery Plus. I spelled Discovery wrong. Oh, here she is. Here you are. I'm going to send it to you. Email. Thanks, Jasmine. I just sent it to you, Lily. Wait, Vacation Bay, who? 90 Day Vacation Bay? But aren't they putting whatever's on Discovery Plus on TV now? Is it worth it? I don't know. I watched 90 Day Vacation Bay on Discovery Plus, and I don't know if they put it on regular TLC. Hello, Sean Christina. Yeah, in order for me to watch Discovery Plus, I have to use the VPN. Oh, Lily's here. She's backstage. I see her. Let me know whenever you're ready to come in. Oh, actually, I'll bring you in at 7:10 when I get started, and I'll like introduce you. It'll be a whole thing. Let me put. We'll start at 7:10, and then that way I can put that in the description box so that people aren't like because that's what happens to me all the time. People are like my internet is going to be spotty. I do apologize for that now. You know, that hotel life though. I totally forgot to talk about the Family Chantel. First of all, I totally forgot to watch the Family Chantel on Monday. So I didn't watch it until Wednesday or Thursday. And then by then I was like, I'm not going to figure out when to go live. So I have to do a double Family Chantel. I have a hard time finding regular 90 Day Fiancé on there. That's why I just bit the bullet and purchased the VPN because I was like having a hard time finding it. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to add that we're going to start at 8. 8 what? 8:40. Save that. Come back here. And hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way, Season 3, Episode 13. Is it Episode 13, girl? I don't know. I don't know the name of it either. So today I have a very special guest. If you guys did not get my message on YouTube, if you didn't get my message on Instagram, I went live on TikTok today with Lily. Literally, we just got off literally like 10 minutes ago. And so she's going to join me here again. But as always, if you guys are interested in joining the conversation, email me and you can join. And Lily, you can leave whenever you want to. Just private chat me and let me know when you're ready to go. And, you know, yeah, you can go. But I'm going to introduce a very special guest. This is Lily. I met Lily maybe a year and a half ago before COVID at a like event that Chris and I went to. And it was where David and Annie and Dean were doing stand-up comedy. And Chris did a little stand-up comedy. And so I met Lily then. It was really a fun time. I love meeting you guys. I yesterday met Sophie and her family, which we'll get into that as well. Actually, we can do it now. So Sophie is from Montreal. She is a Quebecois. She is from the Mohawk Nation, and she invited me over to the Mohawk territory here in Montreal. And I was with her for about 3 hours yesterday. I went to a place, got some tea. Then she showed me around the reservation. She explained to me how, you know, there's different sort of clans. She is the Wolf Clan. And I met her son, her daughter-in-law's mother and aunt and cousins, her kids. Like, I was literally at a family function yesterday, and it was really nice. It was really nice to be like welcomed into someone's home, and it was so beautiful and spacious. And I was like trying to figure out the layout. I was like, I really like this layout of this home. And they made me Mohawk tacos, and it was made from like what I would consider fried jack as the base instead of a tortilla, but then like the ground beef, the cheese, the tomatoes, and all that good stuff on top. It was just like a good time. It was a good time hanging out with a subscriber of me and Chris's who have been watching us for a long time. And it was great. So thank you so much, Sophie. And I met her grandson who I hung out with all day, and he says my name perfectly. And so now, because a 10-year-old, I mean, granted, he does speak 3 languages, because a 10-year-old can say my name perfectly, I'm going to demand that everyone say my name correct. But it was such a great time. It was wonderful. He's trying to force me to play Minecraft, and I was like, I cannot, but I will watch you. So anyways, yeah, okay, so let's get into this episode. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share on any social media platforms that you deem fit. And let's jump right into this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a special guest. Her name is Lily. She's wonderful. And I'm going to add her to the screen right now. And we're going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé.
Hi, everyone. Thanks all for having me. It sounded like you had a wonderful time with Sophie. I want to eat the tacos. I want to eat everything.
I know. I was like, I want to eat everything too. Like, I want to try every food.
Can you get the glasses? Okay, I think let's go with this one this time around. Okay, we're good.
I have lipstick, and glasses. So, we're
matching. We're good.
All right. So everyone say hi to Lily. You've seen her in the comments. Her name in the comments is Sakura. What is it in the comments?
Loves Depp too. I was so into Johnny Depp. That's why I made my secret window reference earlier.
So if you ever see her, you'll this is her, this her, that's Lily. That's Lily, this Lily. That's Lily. This Lily.
That was me, fun fact, in a Best Buy commercial, like in 2009.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, I used to work at Best Buy, and they gave me the opportunity to be in a commercial, so I'm right behind the guy speaking.
Oh, that's so dope. Good for you. I'm trying to think. What Chris was in a commercial. I never did any commercial work. Okay, let's jump right in and talk about, just because they're fresh on my mind, we talked about them last. Let's talk about these 2 idiots. So let's talk about let's talk about what's the name? It's backwards, yeah. Steven and Elena. Okay, so I'm gonna set the stage, and then I'll hand it over. Okay, so first we have Elena and Steven going to file paperwork in the rain. 3 weeks until their visa ends, and she is still not quite sure and is still a little bit worried about him cheating, honestly. He says, we are rushing, which is kind of stupid, but love is being dumb sometimes. That's what he says. I'm sorry, she doesn't say that. And I'm just like, we are rushing, which is kind of stupid. Elena, if anyone ever says to you, we are doing something and it's kind of stupid, and it's as big as marriage, just go ahead and get on that. Just go. Bye.
And I love her reaction. Her reaction, like, he's all cuddling with her and stuff, and he's like, it is making stupid. This is a stupid whatever. And then she's like, nope, don't want to talk to you. Done right now.
Yeah, she has the reaction, but still goes through with it. And it was just like, okay, great. And so they get into the car, to the cab, and they get there, and he's like, how does my hair look? Does my hair look okay? And I said, that's what you're worried about? It's raining. Sir, your hair is not going to look okay in the rain. This is just, it is what it is at this moment. He's very nervous.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then they get there and they provide all the documents. And I don't like this interpreter. I feel like the interpreter is doing a very rough cut of what, basically what the captions were versus what she was like. I felt like it was real rough. Like it was like, you give me documents. Like, I'm like, he said, may I please have the documents? And she's like, you turn in documents now, stupids. That's what it felt like to me. And so they gave all the documents, and then the guy's looking through everything, and he's like, where's your affidavit of singleness or something like that? And
then he's like,
there's like this moment of panic where like they're like, it's got to be there. And even before that, when they said give us the I wish I had my backpack to do it, but it's like when they said give us the document, he's like I'm like, why are you whistling and humming a tune? For you, where you have to fill the silence? Are you feeling that awkward, sir?
Meanwhile, Elena's like with her mask, like,
yeah. The affidavit can't be found, and then he gets up and he's like, it should be. And so he produces the affidavit, and they're like, okay. And again, Elena is there like. Yeah. Then they then the woman says, okay, everything looks good. You guys will be ready to get married at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Because they're like, when would you like to get married? They say as soon as possible. So they gave them 48 hours basically to come to get it together. And the guy's like, oh, I could see the love behind their eyes. I could tell that these two are so in love. And I was like, these two have been fighting for the
meanwhile on camera, they're like,
yeah, they've been fighting for so long. And I'm just like, this is crazy. This is crazy. So they're doing it too fast. He's not ready at all, but it's full speed ahead because I guess this is what you do when you love each other. Like, you know, very, very nervous. Hi, Domestic Gortita. Welcome to the room. Hi, JW. Welcome to the room. And so then the next segment is she is in a wedding dress shop and she's looking for a wedding dress. And she has an interpreter there / wedding planner to help her get through this. She says she wants an arch with flowers. Hi, Betty. Welcome to the next live. Betty has joined us on TikTok. So the woman is there trying to help her out. She says she wants a flowered arch for the wedding. Like, my thing is like, why stress yourself out in a foreign country to get together or to figure out how to have this not perfect wedding, but why stress yourself out? Why not just, like go to a cheap whatever, get a white dress, have him like get a kind of cheap suit or whatever, and go out with the cats picking flowers. Like, don't even worry about all this stuff. Just get married. And then you can have like your dream ceremony and everything later on. He also mentions like she's not even baptized yet. And I was like, we already discussed that she's not going to get baptized until you guys get married. So like, go on ahead and leave that train of thought alone. But I guess they just need it for, I guess, the producers were probably like, do you want me to find you someone who speaks Turkish and Russian to help you pick out your wedding dress? And she was probably like, yeah. So what did you think of the interaction between the Elena and the dress?
It reminds me of LARPing, where you go out and you pretend that you're elf. It's like Renaissance fair. Like, that's when I saw it, I thought of it. I'm like, yeah, that seems like her. Because if you look at the first episode, she's there painting herself in this mystical elf fashion and she's taking her pictures. So when I saw it, I was like, seems about right. Is that something I would personally choose? Probably not, but that's just me thing.
Yeah. So Elena chooses to go with a wedding dress that is a traditional Turkish wedding dress, but not wedding dress, the day before the wedding dress. So it was giving very much like wood vibes. It was giving elven vibes. It was giving Renaissance vibes. She was like, no, I don't want that hat. No to the headdress. But
I'm surprised. I thought she would. I was like, that seems like something you'd want. No? Okay.
But maybe she wants something that's a little bit more like a crown made out of wood or made out of leaves. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. It was like a 3/4 sleeve, and then it like it fell. It was definitely cute. It needed to be taken in. But I was like, that's interesting that you're choosing to do this. And her whole reason is like, I'm obviously not very traditional, so I'm not going to the traditional white dress route. And I said, you are one of the only brides I have ever known of who is actually can wear white and mean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But wear slut crushed velvet red, which is fine.
What lipstick is she gonna wear?
What did you say?
Like, what lipstick is she gonna want to wear? She's gonna want to match the dress, right?
I mean, I feel like she's gonna give us just like a simple wing, and like maybe whatever her blush is what she's gonna put on her lips. She's giving me
And she'll do the whole like, I don't know if you noticed with what I'm sorry, I forget her name, but she's always like her little look, like she has like this very like innocent look where she'll close her eyes and be like,
oh, okay. Yeah, I was just probably trying to give that like innocent look, definitely. So then she ends up talking to her mother, and her mom looked very chic. I mean, it was like a different person. The hair was slicked back, there was no glasses, she was giving all the face. And I said, Elena must look like exactly like her dad, because she looks nothing.
I agree.
Like her mother. And so what was your take on her interaction with her mother?
I mean, I feel like if she could have that Looney Tune sign that says, don't get married, you're making the worst decision of your life. Like there's an anvil above your head. Please don't walk underneath it. She said it all there, and Elena's like, I'm gonna walk underneath this anvil, and I love it, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So she has a conversation with her mother, and her mother tries to knock some sense into Elena. And she's like, hey, you're getting married quick. Are you sure you don't want your friends and family to be there? And then Elena's like, well, no, all we need is Steven. And then the next thing she's like, okay, well, can you handle the fact that Steven has lied to you and is probably cheated on you? And you think that will mean that he'll break his covenant with God, for this marriage, and can you really trust him? I think you should just come back to Russia. I mean, really, I think you should just come back to Russia.
And it's been 2 months that I haven't seen you. Just 2 months. You can still take it back.
Yeah, you could still just come back. So mother says that she doesn't think that Stephen will change, and that, Lily and I were talking about it earlier, and it just feels like Elena's young. This is going to be it's going to be a mistake, but it's going to be a life-changing mistake. And she can still revamp and come back from this.
Yeah.
It isn't like, as long as she's not pregnant. And we know she's not. So
knock on wood.
That is one of the blessings. Okay, so the next couple who came in, Cheryl Leggett came into the room. Domestic Gratita, hello. Came into the room. Tony, hello. Did I already say Tony? You guys are talking. That's great. Continue your talk. Okay. The next couple that we are going to talk about, let's just talk about them, is Kenny and Armando. So for Kenny and Armando, we start off with them leaving their condo, and they are on their way to their weekend destination for the wedding. And we see the littlest interaction between Armando and his father, where he's like, here's Hannah's suitcase. Can you please put it in the car? And so, of course, anything for Hannah. So then Kenny and Armando get into the car, and Kenny doesn't want to ruin the day, but he wants to tell Armando about the trepidation or the feelings that his kids are having. Mainly the fact that Taylor had a way over the top reaction that he did not expect her to have, about wanting to possibly adopt a kid. And Armando was like, did you tell her that the kid might be the same age as Hannah? Or did you tell her that I want a kid of your DNA? And he's like, listen, I couldn't even get to that part because I think they would have freaked out even more. And Lily, truthfully, if Kenny had said, no, we're not going to adopt a kid, I'm just going to give my sperm and we're going to do a surrogate, I think that would have been worse, right?
Yes, she would have. If this was her reaction on just adopting a kid, I can't imagine being like, this will be my blood, and therefore, I don't know, she'd just be like, you're really like making clones of us. Like, oh my God. Um, I think what you mentioned earlier, it was a very teenage reaction. I can see Kenny has like raised his family to be very close. Um, well, I say that, but also too, I think it just came into mind. He just had a conversation with his other daughter saying that they don't really get together now that he's absent. But I just know that it just seems like they have a bond and it's like daddy's girl. And she doesn't want anyone to replace her. And I mean, like you said, she's already an adult, has her own family. It's okay if dad goes and makes another family. Like it's not another family, but it's all one family, one unit.
Yeah. I don't think that the addition of a next child is going to stop Kenny from seeing them any less than he already does. Because he's already far away. So yeah, I get her feeling that way, but I don't understand her showing those emotions. Like it's one thing to silently like be fucking pissed off, but it's a whole other thing to like have an entire like you're gonna forget about us. And I'm like, you're legitimately 28 years old. Like I don't think any of his kids are younger than 25, right? I mean, from what they look like, I mean, and listen, they look old to me. They look
Yeah.
late 20s, early 30s. And I do think that it's quite unfortunate that Chastity or Charity has had to be the one to get the family together in Kenny's absence. Like that's to me is like interesting that they don't just naturally gravitate towards each other, which I don't necessarily think is anyone's fault, but it's like, come on, you guys. Like if Charity feels that, you know, the burden of having to do all that, then maybe that's another conversation that they need to have. But the fact that four siblings live very close together should make, you know, should still have that familial unit. Should, but I guess it doesn't. My question is, did Kenny have them all by surrogacy? Has he
I
never
think
had
that's what
a
they
partner?
said. They said it was all surrogacy, right? By that mystery best friend.
Oh, so
I
wait.
believe that, but I don't know if the chat, I can't see the chat, but I, does anyone know? I think
Yeah.
so.
I don't know. I don't know how all those kids came to. There's four of them. Someone just said triplets, and I'm like, are they triplets?
I thought,
Are the girls triplets? Annie said that. Annie's asking a question. She said, "Are the
hmm,
girls triplets?" And I'm like, I don't know. To me, it seems like Chastity is older, and Taylor is the youngest. I think Brennan or Bryson, or I think it's Bryson, is the oldest, right? He's the oldest kid. And then it's Chastity, and then it's another girl, and then it's Taylor, it feels like. Oh
my
yes,
question was
triplets.
is if this is how she reacted about an adopted, like not adopted, but like him expanding his family, how did she take the news about him leaving? Like, that's a big deal too. Did she also cry and get upset? Like, I'm wondering what that reaction was like. I mean, it's natural, but makes me wonder.
Those girls are all triplets. They all look different ages.
They're fraternal though, right?
Yeah, but they all still look different ages. They don't even look like
That's awesome. Okay,
they,
yeah, they do.
like Chastity looks, or Charity looks older than Taylor. That's very interesting. So wow, he had three little baby girls at the same time. That's a lot of
Yeah,
kids.
I think I remember now that he was raising them all by himself, which is commendable. I
Yeah.
mean, he did his due diligence, and his family they seem like well-adjusted adults. Obviously, we've only seen a small portion of it, but I mean, we've seen small portions of other families that we've seen it messy within that small point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh, that's so interesting. So, and it's interesting, it's even more interesting the fact that they're triplets, and they are not gravitating towards each other. That Charity feels like she's had to be the one to keep them all together, which is
Yeah.
interesting. It's all triplets. That's interesting. But okay. I don't even know the third daughter's name. But yeah, so anyway, he tells Armando that, and Armando is feeling some type of way, which I would don't blame him. He's feeling like he doesn't want his kids Kenny's kids to feel like Armando stole Kenny away. And that he feels like maybe this conversation made them feel like that even more. And so now he's worried because he doesn't want them to be resentful. But if I were him, I would feel some kind of way at the strong reaction Taylor had. Because as much as I do get what she's saying and her feelings about it, I think it was inappropriate. And I think it's sad that Armando has to know that that was what's going on, because that would make me feel really insecure if I were there.
Yeah.
And also, just as what Mickey's saying, I don't understand why they don't feel like, oh my God, Dad's moved to Mexico. Now we can go to Mexico twice a year for basically free.
Yeah. That place, when they were walking out, looked huge. It looked beautiful. The like little stone cobble, and like it just looked beautiful. And I'm sure that their cost of living is super low. Yeah. Like you mentioned on TikTok, the cost of living of moving over there, I mean, it's tempting.
Yeah, definitely. So the next morning is wedding day, and they're happy, except for Armando says that he felt a little sick because thinking of what his family's reaction was going to be regarding him kissing and showing affection to Kenny, and then him like worried about how they're going to dance. Now, you were mentioning the dance in the last live, and is a cute moment. I wish that Kenny would have said, "Just get up, let's figure out the hand placement right now."
Yeah.
So Armando's like, how long are we gonna kiss? Like, how are we? I don't want to be the feminine one. I don't want to, but I'm taller than Kenny, so maybe I don't know, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, get up right now and figure it out. Kenny's trying to be very understanding of Armando's trepidation, Armando's feelings regarding his family's feelings about his homosexuality. But at some point, Kenny's gonna have to put his foot down. But my question is at what point is Armando just telling his partner, telling his friend the way he feels? Mm-hmm. And at what point does Kenny step out of being that partner and just be that shoulder he can cry on and listen to? Because I don't think that Armando is meaning to sort of complain or meaning to talk about this into the ground. I think he just doesn't have anybody else to explain his feelings to.
I think he's processing. That's exactly what it is. He's processing. And I know I'm the type of person that likes to talk to friends, and I may be thinking about something, but I'm being like, okay, there's this, there's that. You're weighing out things. And yeah, you're getting married to the love of your life in front of your family that has trepidations or concerns because it's not socially acceptable where you live. So I can get why he feels the way he feels.
Yeah. It's a hard place to be in. I wish that Armando had a friend that he could talk to about these feelings and not Kenny, because I think it's starting to wear on Kenny hearing, because Kenny was out so early and able to live his life as a gay male so early on with the full support of his family. I think that there's a certain part of him that's just like, okay, get over it now. Everybody get over it.
And I think at one point he also uses that, like, oh, my dad's going to see us kissing and he's going to think it's gross. And like you said, he's processing what he's heard from his dad. But as a partner, obviously, I'm going to feel like offended. I'm going to feel some sort of way, right? He's not trying to hurt his feelings, but yeah, it's going to hurt his feelings.
Yeah. And like when he said that, I don't want my dad to think it's gross. I was like, oh, blah.
Don't say it.
Don't say that. Like, oh.
So, that's the same reaction I had with Elena and Steven. Don't say your relationship, Steven.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, and he says, honestly, I woke up sick to my stomach. Oh. I don't want to hear that.
On your wedding day. On your wedding day. It's not like a job interview. It's not like, no, on your wedding day. What?
Yeah. I don't want to hear that. So I just, I'm going to end this segment right now, but what I want to end it, and I want everybody to help out, is we need to get Armando a friend.
Yes. But okay. So they've been living there for how long? And is it just them two? Like, I'm wondering, what's the dynamics? Have you guys found friends, or is it just you guys drove out? I think it was like an hour or two out to this new town. Do you guys have friends? Like, or is it just you two?
Yeah.
And if you're relying on you two, eventually, yeah, you guys love each other, but the little things that maybe normally you'd overlook start amplifying. And maybe we might see this in future seasons, that there will be rifts, even though they're a nice couple, they seem to get along, but it just seems like a recipe for disaster.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Okay, so the next couple that we're going to talk about are these two emotional.
I'm gonna get my headphones.
No problem. So I'm going to set the stage, and then when Lee comes back, she can jump in. So we have Vic and Ellie, and Ellie is looking like she has been washed up from the beach. Like, she looked like she was in the hurricane, and she is just washed back up the shore. And I get that they've gone through a lot. So we pick up where we left off last episode, and they were drinking a little rum, and they got into an argument because Ellie wanted to know how they were going to support themselves with this bar if they choose to move forward with the bar, and there's no tourists there to leave the bars. And Victor gets upset because he feels like Ellie is just harping on the negative, that he has been through a Category 5. He has survived a Category 5 hurricane, and he wants to just look on the bright side, and she's being a negative Nancy Debbie Downer, just always talking about money. And it makes him feel a certain way because he's trying to rebuild his life. And then she's like, well, I'm asking normal adult conversations, and he is acting like, acting a certain way. And then he says, I'll give you back all your money. All you think about is money all the time. And if you had sent me so much, I would have a bike or a car. You didn't send me thousands of dollars. And you're worried about tourists coming here for us to make money at our bar. But how do you think I survived? This place wasn't always a tourist destination. Tourists only came within the last 10 years. And so, and I survived before that. And I'm giving you the privilege of having a paradise house. And then she calls him psycho. She says that he attacked her. Lily, I didn't talk about this in the other live, but because I didn't have my notes up because I couldn't, I was on my phone.
Yeah. Can you hear me, by the way? I put my headset in. Are you able to hear me? Okay, cool.
I felt a little way about her calling him a psycho.
Okay, I can see that, but I want to know how far away he was when she dropped that word, because she was on the way out. So she's like, I got to get out of here. She gets up, she leaves. And I think it's understandable when someone's upset and needs space, you're going to say something. And if you say it to like the wind, the air, it doesn't matter. But if like your partner significantly like is behind you and you're like psycho, you're just asking, you're egging it on, right? So that's I see where you're coming from, but also too, he wasn't within earshot. I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe she's just frustrated, talking, whatever, and then she's trying to process it,
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that he said, I'm giving you the privilege of having a house in paradise?
I mean, we saw that drone footage where they pan out and like it's supposed to look like this beautiful scene, but it's like all broken. We looked just so bad. Yeah. If that's paradise, wow.
Yeah.
They're living in a tent, in a house. I'm sorry, okay.
I think that, well, maybe his reaction is like before the hurricane. He was offering her the fact that she was able to have land and a house in paradise. And then I guess he was going to do all the renovations and all of the stuff. Now, I do get that she said the psycho comment underneath her breath. But I was just like, I hope that that's where it stayed. Because her stating that he's a psycho and that he attacked her, if that got heard to the wrong people, she could put him in danger. And just as a Black person,
I agree.
Politics are the same in Providencia. Maybe her word doesn't hold as much water, but that was an over-exaggeration because he didn't go psycho on her. He didn't yell at her. He just said what he was feeling, and he said, "I'll give you back all your money." And I think what's happening is these two have different philosophies. She is coming from the States, where all we do here is worry about money, especially if you have a little money, right? I don't have a lot of money, but I have some savings. And I worry about money all the time. Now, if I had no money and I was living paycheck to paycheck, like on a prayer and on a wind, and if anything happened, it just happens and I have to just take it. And that's how life is. I know people like that who live paycheck to paycheck, no savings. And they're just like, well, that's, if I can't pay my rent this month, like life is hard. And I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So like what you're dealing with is somebody who is used to just kind of gunning it and doing whatever and going with the flow, and someone who is used to having structure and stability and having a little nest egg and money aside, and who is a business owner and understands that like a business doesn't thrive and doesn't break even or doesn't even yield a profit if you don't have any customers.
Yeah.
And so she's not wrong for thinking that, and he is not wrong, but he's also not understanding the type of lifestyle she would like to live.
I would like to add with the psycho comment, I do agree with you. I also think like, also it's her fault. She's bringing this conversation up while they've been drinking. Like, do you think you're acting like so grandiose, like you're so mature, but do you really think you're drinking, you're celebrating, the vibes are high, and then you bring up the issues right then and there? You couldn't have brought it up maybe the day after, maybe when there's a serious issue. She was wrong in it too.
Yeah, I do think they're both wrong, but I do think that they both have a point. Like because like I said, I know people who are like that with him here in the States and in Central America, where they're just like, and in Central America, and I don't know if that's the same in Providencia, but once you buy land, it's your land. Like maybe you pay like a yearly tax or something on it, but who's going to come and take that land from you? Yeah. Whereas in the States, they will snatch your shit up and kick you out in 2 seconds, right? So the threat of being dehomed or whatever, I just made up a word, is so much more imminent in the US than it is there. And so he's thinking like, at the most, we have to worry about food. And like, I'll just get some eggs and some rice and some meat from whomever, and we'll be fine. So, and she's not thinking that. I think she's probably thinking of taxes, of owning a business license, of all this stuff that she's thinking of. Because I'm like, there will be people in Providencia who need to, drink, but are they going to have money to drink? If she is not there, is Vic going to hook them up? Is she going to come most nights and have him drinking a bottle of Hennessy with his homeboys? You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand. Pulling a St. John,
where like actually him owning or running the business doesn't make any sense because he's just hooking everybody up. So I do see that, but I was just like, her reaction of like, he attacked me. I was like, no. You got to be careful with your words. And she wasn't careful with her words in that moment. And it's no, because she'd been drinking, and that's fine. And then she's like, well, I don't want to come here and be with somebody who thinks I'm a piece of S. And he says that he's hurt because he thinks that this line of conversation proves that she believes that he's using her for money. And she says that her heart can't take it anymore. And then the next morning, she is packing up to leave, and she's being passive aggressive with a cat. She's like, well, at least somebody here likes me. And she says that her heart and her feelings are just like what's happening around them, distorted and in shambles. And they haven't spoken about what they're going to do and if he's even going with her to San Andreas. But then they have a talk on the beach, and it is memorable. Lily, tell us about this talk on the beach.
I think it's like, I feel like it's been orchestrated by the producers very vividly. So they're walking, and he's like, let's go to the beach where we first met. And there's like a palm tree that's sideways. And he's like, does this look like a good place to sit? And she's like, yeah. So they sit down, and they apologize about what happened the night before, and they make amends, which I think is sweet. And like I was saying in the previous live, like, this is the most loving I've seen them with each other. And it also makes me question, like, is it because it was orchestrated? Because you see them sitting there, and all of a sudden you see the drone footage pan out, and it's like the island, and it's all disastrous. He picks up a conch at one point, and I was telling Juan the last live, I'm like, this is beautiful, pristine, like huge conch. he pulls it out and he's like, well, I had a wedding ring or ready to propose. And I'm like, but did you really? Is this kind of like Wizard of Oz? The little tornado took it off, So we're going to pull out this conch. And then also I was telling Wa, I was like, the conch is very symbolic of power. So you're holding like this. I don't understand the symbolism. And maybe he did have a ring. Maybe he had one of those like, what's it called? Ring pops, right? Which flavor did you get? Watermelon?
I don't believe for one moment he had a ring. And I love that you were like at least giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying that he had a ring pop. But like, he's like I had a ring for you. And I feel like if he had a ring for her, I don't know.
That would have been the first thing in his pocket. Like if something happens, it's on my person.
Yeah. Like, what ring was this? Did he make it out of twine? Like, what was it made out of? Oh, gosh. And also, did he buy this ring from the money she sent him for not bike?
Definitely.
So they forgive each other, and he proposes with a shell, is basically what happened. And I thought to myself, he couldn't have found something smaller. He found the biggest conch shell ever.
The most perfect one, too.
Yeah.
No sand. He didn't have to go like, it was like perfect, no sand. I just didn't get it.
And he's like, will you marry me? And she's like, yes, I'll marry you. And then magically everything, bibbity bobbity boop, like everything is perfect.
The shot. But it's funny because they're sitting together, unionized, but like the island around them is so broken and torn apart. Might be symbolic for the wedding. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, where is Harumi when we need her?
Yeah.
Okay. The next couple that we are going to talk about is, honestly, we're not going to talk about Evelyn and Corey because I did not watch them and like I don't care. So the next couple we're going to talk about is Benny and Ari. So Ari doesn't look good. She looks like she's been through it. She looks skinny. She looks unhealthy. She looks like her eyeliner is dripping down her face, and I feel real bad for her. It's been 2 months since they've been in Kenya. It is the baby's birthday, so they go for a camel ride. Janice has left 2 weeks prior, and Benny is a little sad that Janice is not there. Benny feels like Janice was something like a bridge between them. She feels like he feels like Janice was there to help calm Ari down, to help alleviate a lot of Ari's stress and tension. And I was listening to I was either listening to a podcast about 90 Day Fiancé or I was watching somebody else's channel. And they were saying that it seems that Ari has some kind of anxiety issue and that Janice and the family are aware of it. And so they're supporting her in her anxiety. Like it's something that she has. And so they are being very warm and loving, as you mentioned in the last live, that it's really nice to have a family of the American not be anti the foreigner and be so supportive in the process that they have visited the continent twice, or maybe even 3 times, that they talk to both party and counsel both people to make sure that the relationship is on track and stays positive. Ari says that forgiveness is a process, and that even though that she does have her times where she's in love and thinks everything is going to be great, there are some times where she looks at Binyam's and she's just like, oh. But Binyam also makes a comment. What is the comment that Binyam makes about the reaction or like Janice is there for both of us, and she's like, really, for both of us?
Like I think they had mentioned something of like we're trying to work on ourselves, and he's like, oh yeah, or do you feel like we've been working on ourselves? And he's like, yeah, I think we have. And she's like, we? And he's like, yeah, you have too. And she's like, what did I have to improve? And he's like, well, you're more patient, you're more calm. And she's like, oh, patient, okay. Almost like insinuating. And in the same sentence after that, she's like, I'm glad we're working on our issues. I feel like she has control issues. So I feel like she needs to control the situation, but she places the majority of the blame on Vinny. And I feel like herself, she does need to watch the way she talks to people, how she reacts. The only person that seems to get through to her is her mom, because we see the fade away where her mom's going to the airport and she's assessing the situation and she's saying, look, it's natural that Benny reacted the way he did. He has attachment issues. Now that you guys are here, he looks like he's working on it. I think, and in the whole meantime, she's sitting there but like very like upset. Like, I think she wants it to be like, I'm right. I'm always right. And you're wrong. And you need to fix yourself. And I think she needs to take some look and accountability on herself, to be honest.
Yeah. So Jessica says, Lily Wah, have you seen her arms? It's very sad. Ari has had some difficult times in her past. I did see that somewhere too.
I didn't.
It looks like she may have been, trigger warning for anybody, she may have been self-harming at some point in her life. And so maybe that's why her mother is so hyper supportive of her and like there to take care of her, to ensure that her thoughts and her behavior don't go into a negative place. And I didn't notice that, but this is not the first person to say that to me.
I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing, anxiety, you worry about what's to come and what's the future. Obviously, like when you're thinking about the future, not living in the present, it's a control thing. You want to make sure that your future is aligned up. And you see it with her, with every movement she makes throughout the season. So yeah, it's something that she definitely needs to work on. I don't know, like hopefully she is, and I'm grateful that she's in a decent place, at least when we see her in this episode.
Yeah. So I really do, feel for Ari, and I hope that she can work it out. So now she tells Binyam that, she doesn't ever want to go back to Ethiopia because she's so embarrassed about the way he has portrayed, or he has disrespected her, and she doesn't want to go back and face the music with those people, which to me is like, what does it matter? Those weren't your people anyway. But if she feels that way, then she feels that way. Maybe it's just part of the anxiety regarding that she feels very stupid. But she needs to start the process again with their K-1 visa. She started it a few months ago, but because of COVID, it's been stalled and she's never really checked up on it. And she tells Benyam that she wants them to go to the U.S. And he says, I don't want to go to the U.S., but I don't want to argue with Ari at this moment. So I said yes to going to the U.S. And I said, that's not the way to start this off, but okay. And so they start the K-1 process and they meet with their lawyer, and the lawyer says, good news.
And she's all excited and bright. She's like, hey guys, I'm glad to be on 90 Day Fiancé.
Yes, absolutely. And she says, hey, so in 19 days, you're going to have your interview. So I'm going to need you to hop on over to Ethiopia because it's all going to happen there, but you have to go now, because you need to have been in the country 14 days after you've traveled. And so you won't be able to have the interview if you have been outside of the country within that 14 days. And so all of a sudden, Ari gets like panicked. And she's like, well, I was really excited to do this, but now I'm kind of not, because like it's stressful and blah, blah, blah. And he's just sitting there like, oh, it's good. Like, not able to like console her at all. And so you know what? It's the anxiety thing is such, not to say that people in other countries do not have severe anxiety, but the diagnosis of it and the treating of it and the supporting of it is such an American thing that I feel bad for Ari. And I don't think that she's going to be able to actually be with him in the long run, because until he understands what she's going through, and it isn't just this made up thing that he thinks because she's a dramatic American, he's never going to be able to fully support her in the way that she needs to be supported. And her mother is always going to have to come in and help and save the day, because he does not have the skills to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's unfortunate for her because she doesn't have the skills right now to kind of hold herself back. And I understand it's a hard thing. Like maybe if she was in the US, she'd be able to control it a little bit more. But maybe
she would have the tools available here. She like easily available. She'd have a therapist that would be trained on it. She would do it weekly. If she needed to be medicated and wanted to take medication, she would do it. Personally, I have anxiety. I used to have a big disorder. Now I'm a little bit better, but it's through treatment, constant. You work on it, right? And I do understand her hesitations, especially about validation, the validation of others. Right now, I know I don't need to seek validation from other people, but she doesn't know that. So them judging these are people she'll never see again. Like they're insignificant. She doesn't need to worry about them.
Yeah. So part of the stress is that Ari doesn't want to go back to Ethiopia and face the people, and she's very nervous about going home. And then she's like, I'm gonna have to help you with the paperwork. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to help me. And I'm like, I'll help you with your spelling, but you're gonna fill every single form out.
I mean, has the language changed on the application? Like, he can't ask for like.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to the consulate, so I'm assuming that they speak both language. Someone's going to be able to help him.
Yeah. Yes. So that is the end of them. Did you want to say anything else about them?
I don't think so. I think that was it. Yeah, for them.
All right. And the final couple that we are going to talk about, the piece de resistance. Our favorite couple. The ones that the reason why this show even runs is because Jenny and Sumit have been on every single season of The Other Way. They are the Other Way couple. If they weren't on a season, I don't know what we would do.
I agree. It's like it's beautiful. I love it.
Yes. So we've got Jenny and Sumit, and so Sumit is up in the morning. He's made looks like a delicious pot of chai tea. Jenny comes out with her, I loved her outfit too. I love that it wasn't super matchy too. She came out, she sits down, she has her makeup on, she's ready for the filming, and she drinks the chai. And then we find out that Sumit is getting ready to go for the baptism or the blessing of the child of his brother just had, or his sister-in-law just had the baby. So it's been a long time from the time that we found out that she was pregnant. Let's just be generous and say that she was 3 or 4 months pregnant when we saw her, because she wasn't showing. And if so, she wasn't showing a lot. So it's been at least 5 months.
Yes.
From the time that when the mother was mad to now. And Jenny is not invited. And I said, you guys talk about you love her and that you aren't going to stand in their way, but you aren't going to give them their blessing quite yet because she's not a proper Indian wife. But you won't even let her come to a baptism?
I think I'll commend the mom, because from what Sumit's saying, and I don't know if I could take his word as solid, she said not now, but maybe in the future. So I think this was a lot for her to process, and I think we already know she's not rooting for them. Maybe she feels like if I keep pushing off inviting Jenny, like it'll never happen because they're not going to work out. And Jenny's like, I should be here. It's Jenny time.
Yes. And she's like, tell her mother she's going to have to get over it because I need to be
here to stay.
And I'm like, Jenny, you don't need to be invited to anything, girl. Like you don't need to be invited to anything. And also I think the mother is like, listen, we already made amends with you, but seeing your face is just going to piss me off. And I don't want you here. I don't need this bad energy around this joyous occasion.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, I really do feel like Sumit shouldn't have gone. I think at some point Sumit needs to put his foot down and say, if Jenny can't come, then I'm not going to come either. Yeah. At some point, he has to do it. Maybe not at this moment. You know, maybe he's really excited to see his niece or nephew. I mean, his nephew.
Well, I'll say with this episode, I think he shouldn't have left on such a bad term. Like, he drops that big news on her, and he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I didn't tell you, but I put our marriage thing on pause. And it's like, what? And then he's like, all right, well, you need to calm down. I'm going to go. I'll catch you later.
Yeah. He tells Jenny that he called and stopped the licensing after she's gushing about the fact that they're only a month away from getting married. And she says, this is crazy. Why would you do that? And he says, I don't want you to force me into anything. People get married. I've seen it. They change. I'm stressed out and traumatized from my last marriage. And she says that his last marriage wasn't real, which I was like, don't do that, because even though you don't put validation in it, there was agreements made. There were hands shaken, shooketh. There was a parade.
There were fights had at apartments.
Yeah.
For, like, that was legit.
Yeah, that marriage was real. Maybe it wasn't real for you, and maybe Sumit's heart wasn't in it, but it was real for the woman who was affected by it. And it was real for the family who was affected by it, because guarantee you that those in-laws and that wife did not know about Jenny. Otherwise, they would have never agreed to this. So truthfully, Sumit's parents tricked them into this marriage. And that is why they paid for the divorce. I'm sure they paid for the marriage, and so they were going to pay for the divorce too. So, I'm pretty sure there was, flowers thrown. There was a wedding. So it was real. And anyways, so I don't really know. I don't believe that Sumit feels like Jenny is going to change once they get married. And if he does feel that way, then maybe he has an anxiety problem too. And I feel like the friend, the Hare Krishna friend, ends up talking about it. Like his idea of thinking about it or working on it is doing nothing. Which I think it's because he truly doesn't have his parents' full blessing. I honestly think that's the reason why he doesn't want to marry her yet. He wants to still give them time, because even with the whole christening or the baptism, he's like, give them time. It's the same thing with Armando and Armando's family. Like, they're not comfortable with us kissing, so we're gonna have to like bite the bullet because we are the wrong ones, So she ends up saying that she's not going to take this and that she's going to go home. And he's like, don't do that. Don't weaponize your leaving to the US. I don't want to be with somebody who's going to weaponize things. And I don't understand why he just doesn't get that she just wants the stability of marriage, and why he doesn't understand that she is in the latter part of her life. Jenny is not going to go work. Okay. Jenny needs someone to marry her and take care of her. That is what she needs at this point in her life. And if he's going to be with somebody who is retired, who is living off of savings and retirement, then he's going to have to marry that person.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think he's being unreasonable when he's saying, why can't you see my point of view? Why doesn't she understand me? No, she left her family. She left everything she knew behind to come here. And you found out that you were married, was in the middle of a scuffle that, hey, as a white woman in India, in an apartment with a married man, she was in danger. Like, I don't understand if he didn't get that or get the memo on that. She was in danger. She still came back, had her mother-in-law move in, criticize every detail of her life. I think that she's been more than understanding of you and your situation. I think you should start being more understanding towards her and where she's coming from. She didn't come here because you made a commitment of, hey, we're going to get married eventually. It's been X amount of time. Yeah, I can understand why she's frustrated. And she's lucky she didn't throw that chai in his face, have burns all over his face, because that's something I would have
done. Yeah. Pink Jeep Kiki says, at what point do we say that Sumit doesn't want Jenny like that? Jenny is just a fun thing to do. I root for this couple. And so I'm willing to I root for them. Let me just say that. So I'm willing to kind of put whatever he's doing to aside, but I do think that at some point he just needs to man up. So he then does a gaslighting tactic, which I dislike, which he tells her to calm down when she's very calm, in my opinion. Like, she's very calm.
Overtly calm. Like, had it been me, things would have been flying off the shelves. I've been like, what? Those clothes? I would have been like,
yes. And so he's like, don't force me, calm down. And then she's like, she's pissed off. She gets up and walks away. He follows her. And she's like, you look stupid. And I look stupid. And we look stupid. How are you going to do this to me? And he puts his hands on her shoulder, which to me, I was like a loving moment, but I was still mad at him. And then he says, like, when I feel pressure, it brings out the rebellious side in me. And I said, you are too damn old to feel pressure and then become rebellious. You're not a teenager. Okay. None of that. None of that. Don't even say that to me, because I don't like when people are like that. After the age of 18, that attitude is stupid, and I hate people who are like that.
Agreed.
I don't hate you or whomever is like that. I just don't like that attribute in people. I think it's...
Especially in a relationship, right? Like, it's one thing to deal with a friend and be like, all right, well, you're going through some stuff. We'll connect when things are better. It's another when your partner is talking that way and you're like, no, I don't need that here.
Yeah. Just because you said yes, I'm going to say no because you're forcing me. Like, no, that is annoying. Get out of my face. And so anyways, the next scene, Jenny goes to the temple, the Hare Krishna temple, and she talks with a friend. And
I love her friend. I want her as a friend in my friend group.
Yes.
I want to become Hare Krishna now. Like, I want to be like with her, with the beads. Tell me what you think, your philosophy.
Linda B says that your top is beautiful, Lily.
Oh, thank you so much. I got it from Old Navy. I'm a clearance shopper. I got it for like $7. I really appreciate the kind compliment.
Hey, Old Navy clothes.
Oh, twins.
Yeah, I needed some like layers and sweats and I needed everything basically for this trip because I've been just like getting by with wearing leggings to work this whole time, and I was like, I need clothes, and so I went to Old Navy and like.
And I like their cashback thing where you spend a certain amount and then they give you a coupon. And you're like, oh, cool, I could buy more stuff.
Yes, that's exactly what happened to me. So when I get back, I'm gonna check my account and do what I got. Lots.
And they got good clothes. It's very. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get back into it. But anyways, so she meets with the friend, and the friend is like, "Listen, he's not being responsible. Okay, he is having his cake and eating it too." And that's not fair to you. You know, you need to just go on ahead and leave him. That's it. Go back. And Jenny's like, I've been threatening that, but I can't go. And she's like, well, that's the reason why you're not getting what you want. And she's like, but this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. And the idea of going back to the States without it, after I've sunk 10 years of my life into it, feels, you know, like not the right move, or is very difficult. And I said, when you say it like that, Jenny, when you say it like that, it makes perfect sense. And it's just so unfortunate.
Yeah. Like I told you in the last live, I mean, if worse comes to worse, she comes back to America, she starts selling that slim tea, jumping on that sponsorship bandwagon, she'll be fine. She'll be great. But you know what? I will say something about the Hare Krishna lady. I forgot her name. Her ideals don't match with what we've been presented with in India thus far. So I can appreciate that she has this like open thinking, and she doesn't look super young, but she doesn't look super old either. So she's in between. So I would expect someone like her to have the old traditions, like listen to him, whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I think that's very interesting. It was really fresh, and it's nice to have someone on Jenny's side when everyone's been on Sumit's side. His friend's wife, they had that picnic and they're like, oh, gotta go. Don't want to be a part of this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, I love the advice of the Hare Krishna lady. And I do see where Jenny's coming from and her worries about leaving, because like, even though it's not ideally what she wants, it's still better than what she's ever had. And I'm like, you've had children, and not even the father of your children have been as happy as you've been with this man. Like, ma'am, and just as where I am in my life, like never having been in a relationship, being super single, I'm gonna tell you the slightest bit of kindness would like make me turn my life inside out. So while I can sit here and be like, you should do this, you should do that, whenever somebody brings it down to the fact of happiness and what they're giving up, I think to myself, I understand what you're saying. It's the same thing with Ellie and Vic. I get what you're saying. You said yes to that proposal because what else are you going to do?
And I think something we had talked about in the last live is like, we're only human. Like, we sit here, we love this conversation of like, you know, analyzing the situation. But at the end of the day, yes, logically, we know what makes sense. But as, you know, as humans, we have attachments to these people. And it's really hard to make that cut decision to pack up your stuff, leave forever, never see this person again. You're going to have that room of like, okay, maybe we can make things work out, you know, until enough is enough, whenever that limit is. And it differs per person.
Mm-hmm. It definitely does. And as we can tell, Jenny has not hit her limit. Mm-hmm. And so, but what she can't do,
because she was so calm.
Yeah. What we can't do is have her nagging him. So she needs to make a choice now. She's either going to wait for him to do it whenever he's ready, which who knows when he's going to be ready, because we don't even have a real definite idea of like why he doesn't want to do it, besides the weird statement of, I don't want things to change. And it's like, things change all the time, sir. Life changes. But what detriment is it for her if you don't marry her, is my question. But yeah, so that was the end of the episode. If you guys haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. And if you don't want to, we just explained to you everything that happened. And so see you next week. But thank you so much, Lily, for doing this. I hope you had a
Thank
good
you
time.
for having me. I really appreciate it. As always, like I'm glad I got to meet you, and I'm in this 90-day like community watching you guys. Like maybe I pop in and make some comments, but I really appreciate the dialogue week after week. And I just had fun. So thank you so much.
You're absolutely
Appreciate it.
welcome. All right, I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna wrap this
Okay.
up. You have a good
Sounds
evening.
good.
Bye.
You too.
Okay, you guys, that was Lily. So thank you guys. Put a round of applause. Give me some clap emojis if you agree that was a good conversation with Lily. She was great. Nikki says, wow, Nikki, you just came in. I'm about to leave. Hey, I finally caught a live. Don't ask me how I remember all this useless knowledge, but Kenny's triplet dollars, Cassidy, not Chastity. Oh, Cassidy or Charity. And the other is Madison versus Mackenzie. Yes. Okay, thank you, Nikki. But yeah, so thank you so much, Lily, for that. Meeting you guys is always really great. And being able to like still connect and like have these conversations is really great as well. But yeah, so that's what happened in this episode, you guys. Again, I am gonna do Family Chantel at some point in my life, but I forgot to watch it on Monday night. So I will watch it tomorrow, and then I will go live on Tuesday, hopefully, and I'll talk about both 2 episodes. But yeah, I'm gonna go on ahead and start my nighttime ritual. It's 8 p.m. here. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share on any social media platforms that you deem fit. Or, if you're in some sort of 90-day fiance group, you want to be like, Wahima's great. Here's her video. Do what you got to do. I won't be mad. You know what I'm saying? I won't be mad for more views. Thanks to you. If you would like to donate to the baby fund, here is it down below. And yeah, this was a good weekend. I went live on Saturday and talked about Love After Lockup. Then I went and hung out with Sophie and her family. And you know what? It was also really great being around Sophie because she was very much like, I started talking about like possibly having a child, and she was like, yes. She was very much on par with like, hopefully within this year, we'll pray for you. And I'm like, so it's like nice to know that there are people out there like you that are rooting for me and hoping for all the positivity, and I love that. Mickey, I don't know when I'm gonna make it to Toronto, girl, but if they send me here, we're gonna connect. Y'all have a have you watched Netflix Passing? I have watched Passing. It was stressful. It was stressful. And it was interesting though, because it's a different side of the story than I've heard before. But y'all have a fantastic evening. Thank you, Ramsterdam. Thank you, those of you who are on in Europe, and make time out to watch me at all hours of the day. Y'all have a fantastic evening, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. I did watch Colin in Black and White too. I'm watching all the shows. Girl, I'm watching all the shows.